Welcome, everyone. It's really exciting to be here. Welcome to Netafim's Blueberry Growers webinar. My name is Eli Merkel. I'm Netafim's Global Training Manager. We're really excited to see so many people from all around the world. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, even good night to some of you, I guess. Okay, so in this webinar today, we're hosting a panel of blueberry growers from all around the world, from the US, Peru, Morocco, and Zimbabwe. We currently have a slight issue with one of our guests. So I really hope we'll be able to figure it out during the webinar. Anyway, so as I said, we have people from all around the world, growers from USA, Peru, Morocco, Zimbabwe. We will learn from them best practice, how to increase operational profitability on a berry farm, how to manage soilless media in the best possible way and overcome poor water quality, and more. As some of you probably noticed, you can contact us using the Q&A panel, okay? We have our team here. We will be monitoring the Q&A panel all along, okay? We'll do our best to answer during the webinar, but I guess most of your questions will be probably directed to our guests. So please keep in mind when you're asking your questions, please make sure to tell us who you're referring to, so we will be able to ask them to refer to your question. What else? I just want to tell you that this webinar is part of Netafim series of professional webinars with top experts from all around the world. This webinar is recorded, so in case you have any issues or something, you can be sure you will be able to find this recorded webinar in several days on our Netafim YouTube channel. It is called Netafim Academy. Simply look for it in YouTube and you will find it easily with all the recorded webinars from the past. Okay, I think we can move to the next slide, and I think we're ready to go. And so we have Dean from the US, right? But this is where we have a little issue. We have Mark from Peru. Okay, we have Gregory from Zimbabwe, and we have Aziz from Morocco. So I think with no further delay, we'll simply move first to. Okay, so we have an issue with Dean's. Okay, so let's move forward to Mark. Okay, so Mark, please, I'll unmute you in a second. Please tell us a little bit about yourself. Okay.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Mark Alburquerque from Peru, from Lima exactly. I am not a technical guy. Sorry for that. I have to. We do have technical guys. Actually, my experience, I have been in agriculture business since 3 years ago. I have to deal with the Oslo Peru project, which is a joint venture between United Export, which is a South African group for blueberries, and also a Mijiba group, which is a Peruvian agriculture group. This is our second year as a blueberry company here in Peru. Our second season will be in 2 weeks, so we are a little bit crazy with the coronavirus things and all that stuff. We have almost 200 hectares between pots, drops, and soil. We are testing all kind of things about blueberries. We do have a lot of experience from United Export though. Most of our projects we did it with Netafim. Most of them. We are developing the project from 3 hours from Lima, which is the capital. we developed the project in a desert, totally in a desert. I don't know if you heard about Dakar. So we developed the project in the areas where the Dakar is here in Peru, totally the desert. So we have a lot of groundwork, a lot of that to move the sun. We do have to find water under the ground around 80 meters. Hello?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry.
Okay, okay. Um, so we grow Oslo varieties, blueberries. I don't know if you guys heard about it. Those varieties. I'm hearing some voices. Sorry, I'm hearing some voices. I'm okay?
Yeah, yeah. It's a technical thing here. In a second, it will be okay. You can keep on talking. We hear you.
Okay, so as I said, we have almost 200 hectares. We have a plan where we have to plant at least 80 hectares or 100 hectares per year. Every year we have to decide in which kind of recipient we will do it. Here in Peru, talking about South America, we passed Chile as a blueberry country. Nowadays, blueberry is our main fruit that we export. Our season is middle of June to November mostly. So we are getting into it. We're getting into it. Um, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, we were used to it. My experience is in a construction business, in a mine business. I used to work for 10 years there, and then I moved to the agriculture business. So we used to we used to buy materials from Netafim, and we do the construction process. Now, what we do is like an EPC company, engineering, procurement, and construction. Because what we like to do is to focus in the agriculture things, into the growing process, not into the irrigation system, not into another things that keep us our focus out of the growing process. So in that particular area is working very well with Netafim. Their products, your products, and also what Jose Kimper, Eduardo Perkovic are doing here in Peru is pretty good for us. Um, Give us the solution that we need. We don't need materials. We need a solution. We need a service, and that's what we are having right now. Um, there is always a compliance about the price, but we can, but we can have a solution in there. Sorry, I know that I do not have to talk about it. Just I'm joking. Um, and that's it. I don't know if you guys have a question, or the question will be at the end. But as I said, I don't know a technical guy. Actually, I'm learning a lot about the irrigation systems, about agriculture, but it is a challenge to do agriculture here in Ica, which is a valley, which is a desert. As I said, here in Peru, we do the Dakar in this area, and in this area, this is where we are doing agriculture. So it is a challenge, and that's it.
Thank you so much. For the time, we don't have yet interesting questions, let's say it like this, but I believe that some will pop up during the session. So keep tuned. Thank you very, very much, Mark, for sharing. Okay, so I'll take us next to Aziz. Okay, Aziz, I will unmute you. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, and then please tell us your story. So just a second, Aziz. I'm unmuting you.
Okay, I am Aziz El Khlawi, Chief Operating Officer of African Blue Business in Morocco. African Blue is a Costa Group company in Morocco, working in Morocco from 2007. And our business is 100% blueberries, and for one remark that I have now, the map of Morocco is not, it's wrong. So the business of blueberries in Morocco started in 2006 in the northern of Morocco. The evolution of area planted blueberry was too slow up to 2015 because there are no availability of varieties in Morocco. But from 2015, there was too fast growth in the area planted by blueberries because of their introduction of new varieties, and also there are new emphasis coming to emphasis in Morocco, especially in Agadir area. The current area of blueberry is about 2,700 hectares between the north area and Agadir area. The superficie planted by blueberries has been doubled by 13 times in the last 10 years. For African blue, our story started in 2007 with a joint venture between a Moroccan company leader in strawberries production and Costa Group from Australia. African Blue has the exclusive right to plant and exploit the Costa's genetic throughout Europe and Africa. The farming commenced in 2008, started growth from first farm about 37 hectares. Now multiple farm, both African Blue and third-party grower, totaling about 460 hectares, farming concentrated in Moulay, Bouslham and Larash area in the northwest of Morocco. Recently, farming expanded to lower latitude area to Agadir to try and drive early crop from January to March. This is the map of our farm. The main area is Moulay Bouslham area in the north, and in the south, Agadir. Most of our farms are close to the ocean in order to avoid the risk of frosts and also heat in summer. Why Morocco and why is so productive compared to other area planted by Costa's varieties? We have sandy soil, high pH with varying depths to high pH subsoil abundant water. The quality is varied. In some area we have very good water quality. In some area our machine is required to improve water quality. High light condition. Farming location range from coastal to maximum 8 kilometers inland in order to profit for good environment of temperature. Soil mostly soil ground with mud, but recently substrate has been adopted in area of poor soil quality. All our production are under tunnel, and we adopt shade cloth in summer. For Morocco, crop timing is from December to June, but the peak is in late April. It gives us an opportunity to have markets after Chile and before Spain. all our varieties are planted are exclusive to African blue. The main varieties is Kira, Myra, Arana, and recently Akala. And our production is around 8,000 ton, mainly export to Europe, Russia, and Asia. We pay our full our fees school. We adopt acidification of soil before at least 6 months before plantation. Water acidification is necessary for us to neutralize bicarbonates. All our production is under tunnel and shade. Early adopter of in-ground hydroponic system challenge dealing with high pH soil, conversion to substrates, fertility management in high pH sand, water quality impact on production. For this reason, sometimes we use resource osmosis in some area, and introduction of new varieties like Akala variety because it's good, has good flavor. For our challenge is crop timing. For us, crop timing is very critical, but because we need early fruits. For this reason, Agadir plan is focused on developing early season production for high level of profitability, even if the yield is less compared to the north. Yield opportunity, identify early performing varieties and look to replace opportunity in order to have early varieties. New introduction of new varieties every year to test them in order to replace old varieties. And also we managing the water quality. Other challenge here in Morocco is lack of water resource, especially in Agadir area. We have less water, and every year more or less. And also we have sometimes we have inavailability of pickers because we have a lot of hectares planted recently by berries, so more demand for pickers, and in some periods, especially in peak period like April, May, we have some problem with pickers. And also before we had big windows for export, and now this windows is more or less reduced, and the sale price is less now compared to previous years. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Aziz. We have actually already several questions, but as I said, we'll wrap up and then we'll ask you everything at the end of this webinar. I see, meanwhile, we have Dean joining us. Now, please.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
loud
can you
and
hear me?
clear. Amazing. So so if it's okay, you'll be the next presenter. I'm just taking the slides back to your
That's fine.
area. So please give us a quick introduction of yourselves and yeah, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you. So my name is Dean. Been with Ryderberry Farms in California for 7.5 years. Started in organic blueberries in the soil, stepped into organic blackberries in the soil from there. Meanwhile, we were doing R&D with substrate from strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries. So company, I'm sure you guys have come across them in the past. We are a direct Driscoll grower, farm several countries around the world, throughout the United States. and go over blueberries today and any other questions you guys might have. Our blueberry program is fairly small right now. We have about 20 acres. It's a fall variety that is proprietary to Driscoll's. We are in our third season with it, farmed under tunnels, and variation in pots, irrigation system, of course, all Netafim, drip, stakes. And being that it's organic, it is a different challenge for us. Farming with organic materials through a substrate system where you're irrigating anywhere from 3 to 5 to 6, 7 times a day, depending on the time of year and the type of materials. I mean, we are limited to organic materials, but those that are familiar with them, they're fairly dirty. So it's a lot of filter cleaning, a lot of system flushes weekly, as opposed to our conventional systems, which are a lot easier. We flush and wash filters maybe monthly, sometimes 2-3 months, depending on the system and what we're irrigating with. Substrate material we're using is straight core. It's a 70-30 mix, 70% fine material, 30% more coarse, and it is sourced by a local company. I think they source their core in from, I think most of it is from farm layout. Again, we are under tunnels, under plastic. Being that it's a fall variety, we cover usually in February, March, uncover in January. Our production window can be from August to about December. What will kill the production would be when we start to get our first cold snaps, our first frost that'll cook any of the fruit we have left on there, freeze the fruit. Did you guys want me to go over raspberry at all, or mainly blueberries?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Not sure for you guys. You guys want me to go over any of the raspberry production we're doing, or just mainly stick to the blueberries?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Raspberries in this district alone, in substrate, we're right around 100 acres right now. They are conventional, 7-liter pots. We have gone everywhere from, started with 10s, we've tried 15s, gone 4.5s. 7 seems to be what's working for us. And our system is similar to what our counterparts are doing in Morocco and Portugal. Here in the US, where we're growing the primocane out in the field, plant it in the pots. When we're done, they pruned and put in a cooler and release at different times throughout the year. So similar practice to what we're doing the rest of our counterparts around the world. Not as challenging, of course, being that it's conventional. Our wells are all pretty clean wells for the most part, clean water. Bicarbonates can vary quite a bit from one to the other. But 0.7 to 0.9 on the EC. Our pH range from low to mid, and it's easier for us to control the pH. We're using sulfuric acid. And on the blueberries, which I did mention, we are using sulfurous acid along with sulfur burners in order to control our pH levels. And that seems to help a lot in the organics. Helps keep the lines a little cleaner. In our first couple years of trials of blueberries organically, we used to use citric acid, which didn't help at all. It, in fact, kind of reversed. It would help the pH, but it was real gummy, so it would plug up a lot of our emitters, no matter what size emitters we were using. So once we started using the sulfurous acid, it seemed to help with the problem by running our pH in there. That's about it. It kind of gives you guys a summary of what we're up against. I mean, there's obviously a lot of details. I can answer any questions you guys might have along the way or afterwards, as you said. Any questions right now?
Dean, we're collecting questions for, we first want to wrap up, and then we'll have I think like 2 or 3 questions to each of you. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank
Great.
you.
So thank you very much. It was enlightening, and I'm moving to last but not least, Greg. So Greg, I'm moving the relevant slide to you. I'll unmute you in a second. Just a second. Okay, there you go. So I'm unmuting you. So please do us a quick introduction and tell us everything about.
Thanks. Yeah, can you all hear me? Great. Yeah, so when Roy asked me to do this presentation and told me who the other presenters were and the hectares and the size of their operations, it daunted me a little bit, seeing I haven't done too many presentations for about 10 years. But anyway, we are farming blueberries in Zimbabwe, just a little bit northeast of Harare, in Nocturus district. We currently, our business is made up of, we started it in 2016. We planted our first blueberries in 2016. It took me a long time to convince the breeders to allow their genetics to come to Zimbabwe. So we would have been in production a lot earlier if things were a bit more stable in our country. Nevertheless, we got into the blueberries. Our company is made up of 4 families who have been in agriculture for their whole lives in Zimbabwe. And yeah, so the first plants went in May 2016. We are currently sitting at 21 hectares with the view to expand as soon as the finances are allowing. We had about, we started under plastic. We have realized that in our poly, for those elsewhere in the world, we realized that our production area actually we can grow in the open. We are all in pots in the medium from Legro. We've got about 4 hectares still under plastic. The rest of the production is in the open. We've got Netajet systems in place. We run Netajets, and we're using the arrow drippers from Netafim, as well as the CNLs. From that's a bit of a background as to what we do. And I suppose challenges on our side. I said I was going to speak about water quality. Our biggest challenge. The first plants came, they seemed to be growing, and then we started to see them paling off and chlorosis and going yellow. We thought we were putting enough acid in through the Netajet, but I think so we realized that the pipelines, there wasn't enough time between the Netajet and the fields to actually allow the breakdown of the bicarbonates. Our challenge is we have bicarbonate levels of 115 milligrams per liter to about 140. Our water sources are from 7 different boreholes, so it provides a challenge from that aspect. And so those were the challenges we have been dealing with. That you just had unhappy plants, iron deficiencies showing, and it wasn't. We were a little bit stuck. But into my background, I'm a horticulturalist. I studied horticulture and soil science, so we needed to find the solution. And eventually got to the point where we pre-acidify our water. We apply acid to the reservoirs, things that South Africans call them dams, our water storage facilities, at least 6 hours before we use that water in order to break down the bicarbonate levels in our water and to bring the pH to where we want it for the blueberries. We pre-acidify at the reservoir. We then also treat to adjust the pH in the netajet, whereas and that seems to have helped our situation. We still have to guess a little bit with feeding from multiple water sources, but it is definitely a lot better than it was, and we have been getting great yields and great quality fruit. Otherwise we've got an excellent climate in Zimbabwe. We produce blueberries starting in July through to end of October. The hail risk in Zimbabwe is mostly October onwards, so hence the not so much need for cover in our area, and we're not very cold. We are latitude 17 on our farm. I think that's all from me, Eli. I don't know what else.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. First of all, before continuing to the questions and the answers part, I would like to really thank to all of you for sharing really amazing stories and experience. A question that is to all of you, everyone asking the same question to all of you. So, Greg, I'll start with you. The question, the two main questions are, and we would like to get the answers from all of you. So I'll start with you, Greg. How many plants per hectare or acre, according, of course, to it's right hectares, right? And what is the average yield? So I'm unmuting you. Just a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, my aim was maximum return per dollar invested. So the cost of my biggest costs are actually in the plant, the medium, the pot, and the irrigation to do with that plant. So I've brought my population down a lot lower than farmers elsewhere in the world. Some of my production is as low as 4,000 plants a hectare. The highest is 5,700. Yields per hectare, we are getting between 20 and 27 tons a hectare on most of the mature plantings. First year plantings, we've achieved between 17 and 20 tons a hectare.
Great, thank you so much. So Aziz, same question to you. How many plants per hectare? And what is your average yield? So just a second, I'll unmute you.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
For African blue, we have we plant in the soil and the substrate. For soil, the average density is 3,200 plants per hectares, and for substrates, we adopt 4,000 plants per hectare. But there are in Morocco some grower can go more than 4,000 per hectare. They go up to 5,000 or 6,000 plant per hectare. Depend the vigors of plant, but for in our situation, African blue, we use 4,000 plant per hectare. For yield, it is depend by varieties. Some varieties are top productive. For example, our variety Kira and is top productive. You can have up to 8 kilo per hectares. And the same for Arana is top productive. We can have up to 7 kilos per plants. And in good soil, we can have up to 9 kilo per plant for kira. So the average kilo is between 6 to 9 per plant.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks. Mark, you're next. So once again, how many plants per hectare and what is the average yield? Just a second, just let me unmute you. Please go ahead.
Okay, at the beginning, 2 years ago, we started with an average of 10,000 plants per hectare. But as Gregory said, this is an investment issue, a return issue. And also due to that coronavirus thing, we are changing to soil mainly with 5,800 plants per hectare because we want to do a harvest machine process in order to have less people in the field. And talking about yield, well, for the first years depend. If you plant at the right time, which is October here in Peru, the first year in our varieties, you can get at the first year 2 kilos per plant. And then I will say maximum. We don't have experience in the third, fourth year because this is our first experience in blueberries and with the Oslo variety actually. But we are thinking about 4 kilos per plant, 5 kilos per plant maximum at the third or fourth year.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And again, Dean, same question to you. This time it will be in acres, right? How many plants per acres and what is the average yield? So I'm unmuting you. Go ahead.
So when we were doing soil, again up in the north here, we don't do soil. When I say north, it's northern district, California. We were doing 1,600 plants per acre. Our average yield, depending on variety, could be from 8 to 12 pounds. And with the substrate, we're currently doing 2,700 plants per acre. We're looking to stretch that out again to, we've learned with variety, we can both, space them out a little more. But currently with that 1,600 or 2,700 plants an acre on the substrate, the plant just really came into maturity last year, and we're looking at about 16,000 pounds an acre on that spacing, which is out yielded anything we ever had in the soil. Again, spacing is a little tighter, but I think as we grow and as we learn, we'll be able to make some adjustments with that.
Okay, great. So the guys here, the team is gathering all the time the most relevant questions since there's so many of them. So again, sorry for and maybe not answering everything, but again, we're looking for the most common questions. So another question again for all. So Dean, I'm leaving you on air. Is what kind of harvest do you do? Mechanical or manual?
It's all manual.
Okay, I see.
Anything in California region, or as far as I know, our counterparts in Mexico are still manual. In the Pacific Northwest, our counterparts, their partners, they chemical harvest up in Oregon. But that again is in the soil.
Great. Okay, thank you. Mark, I'm unmuting you. Mechanical or manual?
As I said, until now, manual, but we are thinking in mechanical. But we will have to do some trials because we want to see how the fruit gets into the market. So we'll see.
Sure, great. Greg, what about you? Just a second, I'm unmuting you.
Yeah, it's all manual, all picked by hand. Yeah, we need a lot of people in harvesting time.
And Aziz, I'm unmuting you. So again, the question is mechanical and manual. And if manual, what is the labor? How many people are we talking about? So just a second, I'll unmute you.
For harvest, all manual, because all our production is under tunnel, and also to have good quality. And the average picker rate for Morocco is about 4 kilos per hour. It's too low, but because we make good selection in the field to have good quality.
Okay, great, understood. Another question, Aziz, is what is the right average water use per hectare, right? What is the average water use per hectare? Just a minute, I'm unmuting you.
I don't hear very well.
Sorry, the question was about water usage. Okay, what is the average water use for per hectare? Okay, there you go.
Water use per hectare, volume of water per hectare.
Yes, that's the question. What is the average water consumption per plant?
If I hear you very well, because I have some problem, I don't hear you very well, but the consumption of water in here is about 5,000 to 6,000 cubic meter per hectares in Morocco.
Okay, great. Okay, understood. Mark, a question also, if you can refer to the average water consumption per hectare, but also regarding, the pH, soil pH, what is the ideal pH for plants? So I'm just giving you the unmute. There you go.
Well, the regarding the water consumption per hectare will depend on how many plants you have per hectare, and also if you do it by pot, soil, I don't know. But if we do it by pot, at the maximum, I will say 4 liters per plant. And if you have 10,000 plants, so do the maths. Regarding the pH, I will say between 6 and 6.5 pH.
Okay, great, thank you. Also, Dean, if you can refer to the same question about the water consumption, if it's something different to say about it, and of course the pH also. It seems to be very interesting to everyone. So, unmuting you.
On the water, I couldn't give you an honest answer without looking back at our records, and I don't recall right now. As far as pH, with the blueberries substrate, anywhere between 5 to 6, and shooting for
Sorry,
about 5
can
and a
you
half,
repeat
5
that?
6. Right? I said between 5 and 6 on the pH irrigation, and we're trying to shoot for about a 5.5, 5 6. As Gregory mentioned earlier, we have had issues when we first started with pHs in the high 6s, and again, plants got extremely chlorotic. We're end up taking nutrients. So we've seen them as low, too low, but we try to maintain that about mid 5s.
I see. Great. Okay, so, Greg, it's only fair, to direct these questions also to you. So you can speak now.
Great. Yeah, I suppose water usage in our hottest month, which is October, we can use 10 or 11 liters a plant per day. So that's if you work it back, that's 44, 45 cubes per hectare per day, down to 4.5 liters per plant per day at this time of year. So it all depends on the time of year, on the water usage. The other question on pH, anywhere between 5.5 and 6. I think, as Dean has mentioned, that's where we shoot at.
Okay, Greg, thank you. Great. Another question is about the frequency of irrigation. What is the frequency of irrigation?
I think it all depends on the time of year and what you're trying to achieve, but anywhere from on the small plants 3 irrigations, on the bigger plants up to 12 irrigations.
Okay. Same goes for you, Mark. What is your frequency of irrigation?
Really same as Gregory said, almost the same.
Dean, same question to you. Frequency of irrigation?
When we were doing the soil, we would, again, when it's soil in it time of year, we would irrigate 3 days a week. And that would vary on length of time and what was needed. Within the substrate, low end of the year, when we are covered, you're in the winter times, okay, and peak of production can be 6 to 8 times. Depending, again, we start after sunrise, stop 4 hours before sunset. So again, depends on time of year and length. And like I said, we are uncovered for about a 3-month period during winter, and we've gone as much as 7 to 10 days without irrigating the pot because of the rainfall. We just have to make up for it, of course, when we do start irrigating again. So it does get a little challenging when we are uncovered and we do get rain on them.
Okay, great, thank you. So obviously it's very dependent on the season and the setup and the situation. So obviously, yes, it depends very much on the specific setup. Okay. Additional question that we have is specifically to someone, right? Or do we have more common questions? Okay, so yeah. Sorry? Ideal substrate? Okay, so again, it's for everyone, right? So again, Dean, if you can refer to it.
Yeah, so with the substrate, as I mentioned earlier, we are working with, it's a 70-30 strictly core mix, whether it's organic or conventional and any berry type. Of course, with the strawberries, they come in bags, but still, it's still core. We've played with peat moss. We've played with redwood bark, which is real common for us here in Northern California. It's disposable from a lot of the mills. We've also worked with Veritas, which is another new substrate company, and we've used almond hulls that they get from the Central Valley, leftover from almond harvest. We are still working with trials on that. That is also working, but our fail safe is always core. We always go back to the straight core. We have used several mixes of peat, perlite. They all work, but again, when we're expanding is our cost per acre. And if we can do this a lot cheaper with the core, we're going to stick with the core. The problem with a lot of the other substrates is, as you guys all know, the more you mix in, the more expensive it gets. And the core seems to work for us. We said we've been doing substrate blues for quite some time. And our oldest plants right now in that type of mix are going on their 5th season. And core still seems to be holding up quite well.
Okay, great, thank you. Same question, Mark, about the ideal subset?
Well, as Dean said, this is an investment issue. We have tried Legro, BVV, Prohar, Pinstrup for pots. Also, cocoa substrate from India. It is something about price. Legro, I will say, Legro and BBB, they're one of the best, but they're also one of the expensive ones. So, as I said, we have 2 or 3 years as experience, and all of them are doing pretty well until now. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, great. It's really oh, sorry, I didn't mute you. Okay. Okay, so same goes to Gregory.
I think it goes back to cost. We currently use a medium provided by Legro, which comes out of Europe, but obviously transport costs on that is quite high. We are always looking for alternatives. There's a few growers within our group that have tried a couple of different mediums. Straight coir seems to be working for some of them. It all depends on, I suppose, what you're trying to achieve, how wet you want to be, and how dry you want to be. In our part of the world, it rains a lot in the summer, so you need drainage as well.
Understood. Thank you so much. And Aziz, same question. I'm unmuting you.
Yes, for us, generally we use mix, about third of pitmos, third of perlite, and third of coir. It looks okay. It's cheaper, and also we tested Legro mix in a small area. Up to now, it's used from 4 years ago. Up to now, no big difference between Legro and mix. But also we have a small area with coir bag 100% coir from Pilimix. Good drainage, and I think the quality of plant is not so bad and cheaper compared to the normal mix. But just it's for second year, we need to have more information about this new method.
Great. Thank you so much. Another question to all of you, which I know is a little bit tricky, but we'll be very happy to get some, ballpark numbers about the establishment cost per hectare. The best that you can give us. So Aziz, I'm getting back to you again. What is the establishment cost per hectare?
For soil, it's about 100,000 euro for soil, but for substrates, it's around 160,000 euro.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Greg, same question.
I would say it's fairly similar. Ours in the medium in the pots would probably be about $150,000 per hectare. In the soil, probably about $110,000 US dollars. Depending on the royalties.
Okay, understood. Okay. Mark, same question to you.
Actually, I'm surprised that we have similar amounts from Zimbabwe and Morocco, very similar, from pots and soil.
Okay. And Dean, question for you, I guess per acre, but we'll try to do the math.
With us, it's the last blueberry development we had was in 2016 or 17. So I can compare raspberries, which is similar, tunnel types and all that. I mean, once you compare pots and media. Right now, we're developing our substrate acres, us about $45,000 an acre. And that is machine and everything included. I give you an example as to a currently just built out a 30-acre ranch for raspberries. Once we add another 20 acres to the irrigation unit, it should drop that cost closer to 40, as those costs are going to be allocated across more acres once we develop more. So once we build a full ranch, thinking our system can run about 50 acres, we're looking around 40,000 an acre.
Okay. So, the guys here, they are expert. They'll do the conversion, but okay. An interesting question that kept on rising again to all of you, very, very relevant and actual, is the effect of the impact of COVID-19. Do you see any impact of the COVID-19 on the demand? Dean, we're still with you.
On the demand of fruit or anything specific?
Sorry, I didn't hear you, but I mean the demand of of the market.
Demand of the market. As now, again, for our blueberries, we don't come in, thank God, till the end of the year. Hopefully this is over. We're coming in more towards the end of summer. But as far as raspberry pricing for us in our district in the north, raspberries are just kind of starting to peak. Blackberries are just coming in. Price is still reasonable. I know strawberries are struggling in California still again another year, about fourth year in a row. And the COVID-19 deal, I mean, most of all, it's employee safety. That's our biggest thing. Just, the added risk we have and keeping them healthy and the distancing. That's the hardest part. Trying to harvest and while maintaining a distance in the field is a bit of a challenge, but it's so far so good.
Good to hear. Great. Hope it will, keep on being this way. Mark, do you feel in Peru any impact of the COVID-19 on the demand?
I don't know if in the demand, but maybe in the price. Also, we are having an important impact relating to cost, with people, with transportation, with food, with the spaces, and all that stuff. So obviously, this year won't be the same with COVID-19. I mean, our expectation is lower than the last year, of course.
Okay, great to hear. Okay, so again, also in Zimbabwe, what's Greg? How is it in Zimbabwe? Do you feel any impact of the COVID-19 on the demand or on the prices?
Still muted, yeah. Yeah, we still are to get into the season. We will only be starting soon. Yeah, I'm not sure. We hope for good things, but the world is in a strange place at the moment. So yeah, I don't know.
Sure, understandable, of course. And Aziz, for you in Morocco, do you see any effect of the COVID-19?
Yes, we feel less demand, especially in April. for tourism because of COVID-19, and also there are a lot of fruits from, especially from Morocco, in April. So we have less demand in April, and also the price dropped too early this year, and the cost was higher this year compared to last season, especially for transportation of workers is double now, and sometimes we had some problems to have enough workers because cloud down. We have not availability of workers during, especially in April.
Okay, thank you. Guys, we have so many questions keep on coming, but unfortunately the time's up. Our team here is doing its best to gather all the questions, and we'll try to get back to you through your details, through the details you left when you registered and connected to this webinar. We'll direct them when relevant to the local contact points of Netafim, and they will probably contact you and will be able to assist you. I want to take this chance to tell Aziz and Greg and Dean and Mark, thank you very, very much for sharing, taking part in this webinar, sharing your amazing experience. I really, really sure the participants found it very beneficial and very, very helpful. So I won't unmute you all at once because we saw it's creating all kinds of issues with the voice, but I want to tell you again, thank you very, very much. I would like to remind everyone that you can find this recorded webinar in several days on our YouTube channel under Netafim Academy. That's all you need to look for, and you find all kind of recorded webinars, including this one. Thank you again very, very much, and guys, we'll be in touch. Goodbye.